With election season in full swing and our nation's mental health being on the brink of chaos, destruction, the point of no return, it is our responsibility with the Church Misfit podcast to bring you a survival guide. How are we as Christians, as a nation, going to get through this next month or so?
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
I'm actually just here to get tips.
Oh, okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do just that. We're going to bring tips. And in fact, I've got a friend on the podcast with us, this little Bell. Anytime any of us shares a tip, or in the context of talking, having a conversation, we feel like that was good. Tip. That was a tip. That's the tip bell. Okay?
That bell's not getting touched.
Okay. Now, this is the other reason we can use the bell. If this starts to go off track and we feel like we might say something that would offend our Christian Democrat or Republican brethren, then I also want us to ring the bell.
Oh, that bell's definitely getting touched.
Okay? Good. So for tips, for offenses, that's what the bell is there for.
It's good. Tips and tricks.
Now, let's dive in. We've got...
What do we do when we hit the bell? So are we going to... Does that
You're
mean...
just calling out something that was offensive to you or could be offensive to somebody out there. And so...
Or if they said something good.
Do we retract? Do we back down?
No, we don't retract. We just...
We apologize for nothing here.
Listen, the focus of this episode is to take care of people's mental health. That's what this episode is not about politics. It's about...
Yelling?
Yes, thank you.
Offensive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it down.
It's very passionate.
This episode is not about politics. It's about protecting people's mental health around the election, okay? And so, therefore, with that in mind, we have some tips on how you can do just that. So I will kick us off with my first tip, okay? Tip number 1. If you are planning to vote Republican in this election and actually go to the polls, my tip for you to avoid bullying, shaming, and anything like that is to dress up as a Democrat. What do you think?
Please describe how
What does a Democrat wear?
Well, first of all, you would wear blue.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. You'd probably maybe look like a hipster.
Keep going.
Like you would, I don't know. You're definitely wearing blue. You probably have an Obama t-shirt on. Because I don't think who's going to wear a Biden shirt?
Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah. And you're definitely not going to wear a Clinton shirt. So you might be wearing an Obama shirt, right?
What if you just confuse people and you wear a MAGA hat but a Biden shirt?
A MAGA hat and a Biden shirt.
It's a good way to get jumped.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other... How else would we...
I don't like that tip.
You don't like that tip?
No.
Well, I mean, like...
I'm not worrying about what I wear when I go
vote.
Joe,
no,
what about
I'm
not
just
what they're
making sure
wearing?
I
What
make
about-
it to the polls. I'm not...
Oh.
Outside of what they wear, is there any other tells?
I don't know. Yes, there is.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the thing.
Yeah, they got a battery-powered car.
AKA, they care about the environment.
Yeah, well, that's a tip.
And
it
does not say made in the USA on the bumper sticker.
Sort of hybrid vehicle.
Elon
if they got out of a hybrid
you.
vehicle and they're wearing blue,
Coexist.
you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
So if
Probably
you're a
wearing
Republican,
your sister's pants.
Yeah, if you're a Republican, borrow someone's hybrid vehicle.
Look, there's a bunch of white old guys that come through my Tesla service center right now, and I don't know if they're all liberals.
I think you're right, Tyler. You're very generalized here.
Also, I'm going to get fired for saying that. Thank you, Joe.
Okay. All right. So
Elon for president.
Okay. So I got another one. All right. Here's what I want you to do. Protect your mental health. Okay. I want you to. You're on Facebook, right? There's basically 3.
Step 1, get off.
No, wait. There's 3. Here, this is simple. You got the tip here is find your tribe, right? And so when you're looking at people's reactions on Facebook, especially to anything political, they fall into generally 3 buckets. There's relief, apathy, and sorrow. And so you got to ask yourself, like, if Biden gets elected, what do you feel? Relief, apathy, or sorrow? If Trump gets elected, relief, apathy, or sorrow? Right? and then you go align yourself with people who are expressing those same emotions. I think that's healthy.
So just mute everyone who doesn't believe what you believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Joe is like, find.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go. I don't know if
Find
that was
your
the
echo
offensive
chamber.
ding or the tip ding, but either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
Just
Yeah.
find your echo chamber. They'll make you feel good about yourself and affirm your beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got
All right.
another one. I got another one.
Wait. Just go on vacation November 4th, 5th, 6th for the next 4 years.
You could do that too. People tried to do that in 2016, didn't work out. So they ended up buying bigger houses. And that's why we have a housing shortage. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's look at it this way. Okay, we know Thanksgiving's going to be tense, right? Who wants to handle political discussions around Thanksgiving this year? That's going to suck.
That's right.
I got a fun game. Okay, this one is what I. This is good. You seen the movie Inside Out?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good movie.
Okay,
man, okay.
Inside Out. Okay.
I'm with you.
Okay, we're going to play. I'm going to encourage everyone to play Inside Out Bingo this Thanksgiving. Here's how you play. Here are the rules. Okay? It's you and at least one other person. You're going to go around the room, and you're going to ask each family member what they thought about the election. Okay?
I've got anxiety.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Bad idea.
Sorrow.
How many
Real
glasses
quick.
of wine have I had by this
Okay.
point?
Do I hear depression?
You're going to be in and out real quick. Yeah, so that's the thing.
Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, exactly. So here's how you win. You got to be fast though. It's like, "Hey, Uncle Ted, what'd you think about the election?" You're going to gauge his first few reactions. You're looking for this: joy, sadness, anger, disgust, or fear. Those are the 5 emotions in the movie Inside Out. And you should be able to pick up on it in the first 5 seconds. And you say, "Oh, I want to hear this. I'll be right back, Uncle Ted." Then you go to Aunt Lucy. "Aunt Lucy, what'd you think about the election this year?" Okay? And then you're joy, sadness, anger, disgust, or fear. So the first person to find all 5 emotions, bingo!
That's good.
Inside Out bingo.
Now, does it all have to be at the
Okay.
same time, like all at once, or
No,
just
you're,
at any
you
point?
gotta run around the room
Okay,
real
very
quick. Yeah,
good.
one other person, you just gotta go quick.
I
What'd you think about
suggest
the
with
election?
joy
And then you're
first,
out.
and then work your way towards the
Well, you
the
don't know
sadness.
what you're gonna find, right?
You really think it's
you're
going to
just-
work towards joy?
What? Yeah, I mean, somebody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, it was the most."
Okay.
So and so did such a great job on the debates, and like, there's
That's
gonna be
good.
joy.
Okay.
You're gonna see it, right?
No
No,
matter
we're
who
advanced.
wins, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, "Zach, what do you think about the election?" Boom, done. All 5.
That's good.
No,
Yeah, this game will not be
yeah.
being played at our Thanksgiving this year.
Joe's going to ask you.
I'll be there. Just going to drop by to say hello.
I'm going to start early with both the wine and the turkey, and I'm just going to be passed out on the couch watching football. 10 a.m.
Yeah. You got a big 0. No one's paying attention
bunker
to your
down.
tips. But I'm glad they're
All right.
working for you.
Give us
Very
your
creative.
best tip.
These are good. Okay.
Don't lie.
All right. So Mona, here's what I admire about this election in particular. You're actually doing a good job of trying to understand both sides, right? You're watching Republican stuff, you're watching Democratic stuff, and you're trying to maintain your sanity in the process. How are you doing that? What are your tips to maintain your mental health as you try to listen to both parties and find reason and logic somewhere in there?
I'm looking at people that are actually talking and just kind of going, they're all crazy, first of all. No, I'm just kidding. That's not how I process. I decided,
Don't lie.
at the beginning of this thing, that I was going to make sure that I did a few things before I voted. And that was, I was going to commit to watching the Democratic convention and the Republican convention and the debates. And only after that would I vote. So I was making myself have a qualification period to voting. I think there's a lot of people that are voting that aren't doing those things, that aren't doing their research, and they're just going based on what they're hearing from people. Anyway, when I started watching Republican National Convention, Democratic National Convention, that ended up exposing me to wanting to learn a little bit about people who have walked away from the Democratic Party and people who've walked away from the Republican Party. So I've been, there's hashtag walk away. That is the Democratic Party's leaving. And then I follow Twitter for the same on the Republican side. It's interesting to me to read the testimonies of people who've been voting their certain way for all of their life, or whose families voted a certain way, or who are part of the LGBTQ community, or who are of minority groups and who are choosing something else, and hearing just what they're saying as why they have turned either way, or people who've been longstanding Republicans that are older, and or people that are business people that have been Republicans and now are moving to Democrats. So anyway, that's just been super interesting to me. I like hearing their testimony, and you can't take away from somebody's story. Like, that's their story. This is what has happened to them. This is why something has become important to them. So that's been helpful. It's just been insightful, and it allows me to hear when other people are posting something that maybe I agree or disagree with. I just kind of take it. I just kind of go, you know what? I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, basically. And I'm going, they are saying the thing that best captures where they're at right now. That doesn't mean that's where they're always going to be. I've listened to tons of stories of people now who have changed in what they've thought. And so we're all just trying to make the best decision we can with the information that we've been given, with the perspectives that we've been given, with where we're at currently. And so that's been just kind of helpful in allowing me to understand where people are coming from. I practice something on Facebook where every time I go on there, I want to have my muscle of biting my tongue get stronger. And so every time I go on there, I just see it as this is my workout today. My workout, because I'm not doing much of anything else during quarantine, is just to make my biting my tongue muscle stronger. And so when I see something that's really hard, and when I start posting something and then delete, I think, all right, I just had another win. I just made that a little bit stronger, and that's been helpful for me.
Every time you do that, do hashtag Biden my tongue.
Oh,
that was good. Thanks for bringing it back, Mona.
That is good.
That's good.
Good.
So anyway, yeah, it is definitely a tense time. When I do say things, if I ever do say something on Facebook, I really do try to make it to where I'm not concretely saying one party or the other. I think I think we've got to show more understanding, whichever way you believe. People, I don't understand how anybody is making blanket statements right now and really holding true, like really thinking that they've got all the information. Like, really, if you really believe you believe something and there hasn't been anything that's tainted it, or you don't have any wrong information and how you came to that conclusion, I just don't trust you, because I just think you're naive. Like, there is just so much out there that is tainting our perspective right now. And I feel like for you to lose relationships because you're willing to die on that line, die with that thought, I just think it's foolish. And I think that it's a bad thing to lose friends over. And so anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the uncertainty either causes us to double down, or to move to a position of humility, realizing I don't have all the facts and things aren't black and white. This just really isn't easy, and we all need each other.
Yeah.
That's good. So when you watched the DNC, what did you feel? Fear, joy,
Discuss.
sorrow, disgust.
Good job.
There it is. Yeah, no. So they've got a bell curve of corresponding confidence and ignorance or actual knowledge that you have. So where you start on the bell curve, it's like I know that I know nothing at all about this, like complete ignorance, and you realize that, and you have very, very little confidence. Then you get into the next range where you know a little bit of information. This is everyone on Facebook, and it shows like the confidence level reaches like all-time highs. You're top of the bell curve because you have a little bit of information. Then as you go a little further and you start to become an expert, like truly actually know what you're talking about, the confidence goes way down as you realize more and more you wade deeper into the ocean. I don't know near as much as I think I do. And all the Facebook conversations reside in that I have a little bit of information, and I believe I have all the information. And that's, I think, kind of what y'all are already hitting on, is that leading with humility into those conversations, and not trying to just assert things, because then you just start immediate wars, burning bridges, but lead in with questions. Partly because that challenges the other person to kind of flesh out what they, as they're shouting something and you're asking honest questions, not to offend, but kind of lowering defenses. some of them are going to start going in towards the end of the bell curve where they realize, maybe I don't actually know what I'm talking about. Maybe I should go research this, or I don't have anything to back it up because this guy's actually asking me. And I don't really have a whole lot to give. It was a one-liner on Facebook. And there might be times where they know what they're talking about and they actually teach you something that, maybe you have to go look up yourself, but that's actually how knowledge is passed on.
Yeah, one of the ways I'm reframing this in my mind in a healthy way is I have to look at it through the lens of, okay, yeah, it feels like I am casting a vote for a person, but I'm really not, right? Because that person, no matter who is president, they do have some power, but their power is limited based on how everything else works, the checks and balances that our system is set up with. So what I'm really voting for is a philosophy on the way I think our nation should be governed, regardless of who nominated the person to be the face of that philosophy. Like I have discussed and have had for the past, forever, since I can remember. I can't remember ever being excited about voting for a candidate, right? I get sorrow with every passing election, and now I'm here in my mid-40s thinking, is this the best we can do in this country? But then I have to go back and reset it like, okay, ultimately, I really am voting for a philosophy. So which philosophy lines up with the way I think this country should be run?
That is definitely fair, but I mean, in the end, you are voting for a person, and what I mean by that is you're voting for, can I trust this person to live out that philosophy they're talking about in the election? Because they're going to say a lot of things, but are they going to follow through or not? So you're voting for someone's character as well.
But when we're voting for a lot of things,
Sure.
right? It's not just the president. We're Senate, House of Representatives,
That's true.
local folks. Like, all of that works together.
That's fair.
Like, in a very imperfectly trying to be balanced way, and so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that aspect of it, and so I try to keep an open mind in that, rather than hitting a straight ticket one way or the other. I try to keep in mind my core value is I despise career politicians, and so I would almost vote for the younger person, right, than I would the older person.
Is there a younger person?
Well, not at the presidential level so much as when you get into
not in this election for sure.
Yeah, you get to other
Teddy
elections.
Roosevelt was 42 when he took office. 42.
Wow, that's a great age. That's my age.
That is,
Oh, you're
Best
well.
age.
yeah.
He's good.
I need a Teddy Roosevelt.
Zach, you're about as unpolitical as they come. So how are you surviving this election? What are your tips?
Okay, here's the deal. I used to be like very apathetic and unpolitical, and then I started like tiptoeing out and like dipping my toes in it. And now I think I'm going back. I'm just gonna bunker down and hide out and be political in private. I'm really wrestling with like I do have influence. Like I want to be good stewards of this. I don't. It's all overwhelmed. It's super overwhelmed. Even you asking me that, I'm super overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What do I do? I was hoping you were gonna tell me what to do.
Oh, that's why I'm here.
Well, was it your idea or someone else's idea that we should have a reset button? You don't have to one or the other. No, just hit reset.
100%.
Shouldn't that be an option in the
press
election?
whoops.
The options and then
Whoops.
you got a little
whoops.
buzz.
Yeah.
Mulligan. And if enough people select it, then we just start all over.
Yeah. I like that because like I grew up in the era of Nintendo, and when I didn't like how I started off the game,
you restarted
like Galaga. Yeah. Like if you don't get that first fighter captured and so you can end up with 2 gunners, then you just like reset and like you get. Never mind. But you hit the Nintendo reset so you can get a new game.
So when it
Or you
resets,
put in
though,
cheat codes.
That's a good tip. I like that.
But like Nintendo though, do you just reset to the same level you were just on? Is it like because is Trump just gonna hover the whoops button and be like, whoops, 4 more years, whoops, 4 more years?
I don't. Here's what I wrote down. Okay, this is my good stuff. I'm looking into the helpers. I found some hope, some like silver lining, things like Brand New Congress. These other groups. What was it? It was called. It was these dinner tables, and they would just invite people, and they had ground rules, and people would just talk, and they were from all different political backgrounds, but the whole goal was like unity and conversation. just different people like that. Stay grounded, unplug, learn to laugh. You've got to laugh. We're laughing a lot. Tuesday, I laughed at the ads because they look like they're setting up the NBA Finals. And
That's
you know
good.
these two geriatrics are going to come out there. And late night is going to be set for the next month.
You know, someone said to me recently, if you're not laughing, you're crying. So let's laugh.
fair.
Laugh till you cry, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Humanize people that I realized this a long time ago. Somebody was protesting something that I was doing, and I was out there like standing for justice and doing it out of sheer compassion and empathy. And I realized they were doing the same thing. They were protesting, but like their heart was for justice also. They genuinely cared about people. And so whatever side you're on, just humanizing the other person and then figuring out how would I want to be treated? Like, how do I start a conversation with you?
That's good.
I think
Hang on. I need a couple of bells here.
There we go. And then just create space for conversation with people you trust. I like the Church Misfits. So
On the humanizing one, our pastor a while back said that when we don't agree with people or they've done something to hurt us, we tend to make them a very one-dimensional person. We flatten them.
They are
and
the
we
devil.
say that person just XYZ, and we limit the scope of who they are. And so I constantly trying to ask myself, like, is that person still 3D to me? Like, do I still see them with dimensions and with experiences that have shaped certain things and with parts of themselves that I would really agree with, not even just morality things, but man, we might really like the same wine or the same beer or the same cocktail or the same, like there is more to them than the sentence that I go to, which is that person just, So anyway, constantly trying to think through, like just making sure that
I'm
I'm
trying to figure it out like everyone else.
yeah, starting there, they have value, and I want to uncover the value. Last thing, I'm reading The Awkward List by Tyler Schutze. Listening to REM, It's the End of the World as we know it, and I want to live it to the fullest.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
So
That's good.
You got until the end of 2020 to live your purpose. We don't know after that.
That's good. No, I think the biggest takeaway as we wrap this up is really, and I love the point. It really does come back to humanizing others, remembering, as Tyler, your book helps us focus on big picture purpose. Like, why are we here, right? And the hardest thing I think for a Christian to do in a very contentious election is to represent Christ with their words, with their patience, the way they listen. Like, do your best, especially if you're an extroverted Christian, to, listen first, then gently speak. In Mona's case, the biting the tongue part, right? I think that's brilliant. I think it's a little bit easier for introverts who tend to think before they speak a lot of times. But in any case, our words as Christians can be damaging, right? They can tear people down. They can build people up. So how are we going to use a contentious topic to love people like Jesus would love them? And if you can't do that, then get the hell off Facebook. Get the hell off social media. Like, don't say anything. Like, it really, you're not, ultimately you're hurting the biggest cause, which isn't
That's
the
right.
election. It's somebody's salvation, right? Because that's what people are going to remember. How did Christians handle this election? Those Jesus-loving Democrats, those Jesus-loving Republicans, how were they out there? Because I saw them and I saw the way they beat down everybody else or the nasty words they said or the posts they had. I want nothing to do with Jesus. You want that hanging over you for the rest of your life? Because that's what a lot of Christians are doing out there, and that's the most disgusting part to me.
yeah, that's real. I think politics has a way of becoming identity and idols really, really quickly. I don't think either party, we know that neither party has it figured out, but we act like they do. And yeah, just keeping that perspective. Like, my goal is really to reach people. I'm a citizen of another kingdom. There's a bigger purpose here. And so I want to start conversations. Turn off whatever your news source is and watch more Hamilton. And
That's good.
talk less and smile more.
Hamilton.
Oh, my God.
I thought you were going to say Pitch Perfect or,
Offensive.
Moneyball, Warrior or something.
With the times, Joe.
Whatever inspires you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
To go
It's
out
fair.
and do the dang thing.
Thank you.
Do that.
There it is.
If I was gonna give out 3 books on this topic,
Yes, do that.
number 1 would probably be the Bible. No, there's a book by Eugene Cho called "Thou Shalt Not Be a Jerk," and it's about being a Christian engaging in politics.
That's good.
But number 2 would be the Purpose Project. Number 3 would be the Awkward List. Check them
Give
out.
that a ding.
You know, that's the second time you've said that. You and I wrote a book together. It's not called The Purpose Project.
I don't care. I don't even remember.
Go check out this book that isn't even ours or doesn't even exist out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
Great.
somewhere out there in the interwebs is a Purpose Project workbook.
Yeah, I think we pulled it a long time ago. But here's what you can do.
You can get on eBay now. Half price books.
No, all in all, we like to have fun with these topics. We hope we hope you enjoy listening. Our purpose in this is really to encourage the person God made you to be. So if you're listening, watching out there, and you're struggling with your own sense of identity, purpose, belonging, like, God, why am I here? Why does it matter? Then we do encourage you to go to purposepro.org, the new site we just launched, where we have workshops. We can do them digitally, in person, if you're in the Austin area, but we do them digitally with people all across the nation, and we would love to start you down a journey to answer those questions. So purposepro.org.
America's wrestling with her identity. Have you wrestled with yours?
There it is. Oh my, that's golden.
That is
There
pretty
you
good,
go.
right?
That is golden.
Give him a ding. Woo! There we are.
Until next time.
Orders up.
Thank you, guys.